that the Netherlands is a very strong and committed partner to the government of Uganda and to the different stakeholders involved in development process towards the operationalizing And we also know that the heaviest blow of every crisis will normally fall on the most marginalized and excluded groups. For an inclusive post-COVID recovery, we therefore need focused initiatives, and we cannot really overemphasize the importance of the We Lead program. And I think the launch of this program is quite timely. Therefore, we need solidarity to see that the most at risk are taken care of, are included in the recovery process. And therefore, it needs collective efforts of all actors present in here today to really see that the We Lead can be one of those programs that at the end of the 5 years will have some tangible results to share, but also will have some critical lessons that can also be used to inform government policies and government programs. We learned that there are quite a number of young women and youth leaders present in the launch today and will be participating in the program. I have to share with you that we strongly believe in your potentials and young people, and we believe and are hopeful that through your leadership, meaningful participation of young people in all their diversities, and more so those groups that are normally left behind, will be strengthened. As I end, I would wish to congratulate the Alliance and all the partners for organizing the launch today, and I want to still re-echo that the Embassy remains committed and looks forward to a continued collaboration with all stakeholders in the implementation of the We Lead program. And I would like to wish you all a very successful launch and look forward to other engagements. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
The 4 outcome areas for we need are to mobilize the general public to support young women achieve the SRHR, to work and advocate for laws and policies that allow access to sexual and reproductive health for these rights holder groups, to work with healthcare workers and health service providers so that young women are able to access these services as well as information that they need, and to ensure most importantly that these young women have stronger well-being and are able to build stronger movements so that they can truly achieve sustainable change for themselves but also future generations. I look forward to working with all of you over the next 5 years and am 100% certain in my heart that We Lead will achieve its ambitions.
Thank you so much, Jonas. Can we clap for her again? At this time, kindly allow me to invite one of the powerful women and the reason why.
The society. At We Lead, we believe that there is absolutely nothing for young women. And this is a slogan that we've always highlighted, nothing for young people without them. At We Lead, we say nothing for young women without us. Because the reality is communities of young women remain left behind. If we are to talk about sexual reproductive health challenges, who face the biggest burden? The girls. When a girl gets pregnant, we all know in some communities that are not well progressive, that is the end of her future. They will marry her off. But is she worthy marriage? Or there is something more we can do to support her to survive, but to also thrive through and be that empowered woman that can contribute to the development of the society. So the We Lead program is here to truly empower, to truly place us young women in the driving seat, for us to be able to support and effectively advocate and claim our sexual reproductive health and rights. Allow me note that the We Lead program is part of the SRH partnership funds that are funded by the Dutch Foreign Ministry. And these funds are basically around strengthening civil society organizations. We Lead works in consortiums with 6 consortium organizations. To mention Positive Vibes, located in South Africa, our consortium partner Shilin just gave all some remarks. We have Restless Development, we have Masters, Femnet, the Central American Women's Fund, and HIVOS as the leading partner. We Lead is being implemented in 3 continents: the African continent, Middle East, and Central Africa, and also in 9 countries: Lebanon, Jordan, Uganda, Kenya, Mozambique, Nigeria, Niger, Guatemala, and Honduras. The way we work collectively with the consortium partners that I highlighted, but also in the country, we work with communities of action organizations. And these are grassroots organizations, these are national-led organizations that work directly with the young women who we refer to as rights holders. We work together to ensure that the communities of young women are empowered, are resilient, they are able to drive, they are able to create innovative solutions, solutions that are sustainable, solutions that are impactful, solutions that effectively address their sexual, reproductive health and rights challenges. I am happy to announce that early this year, we managed to send out calls, and right now as a country, we have 14 community of action organizations. As a community of action facilitator, I am very, very proud and honored to be the mixed type, the lady that will be working through with the team. As they do the boiling, everything, the cooking, we will come in and we offer, put our efforts together and ensure that the We Lead goal, the vision that we all want, is achieved. Allow me highlight some of these organizations that work directly with the 4 groups of rights holders that we work with. For rights holders living with HIV, we have the Alliance of Women Advocating for Change, our work Uganda. We have the Uganda Network of Young People Living with HIV, known to many as UNIPA. We have ASHWA. ASHWA is the Alliance for Sustainable Health World in Africa. For rights holders with disability, we have the National Union of Women with Disability in Uganda, NOUDU. We have Tunaweza Foundation. Our MC for today is from Tunaweza. We have Nile Girls Forums, mentoring and empowerment program for women. And we also have Burundi Charities for rights holders who are affected by displacement. And lastly, for rights holders with multi-component, but also with different vulnerabilities, communities that remain left behind, the young women key populations. We have the Uganda Key Population Consortium, we have Wero Uganda, we have Thai, Uganda. Yes. And last but not least, we have Resilience Women, Uganda. These are the 14 community of action organizations, the ones that will front young women. I am also happy to note that as a country, we've been able to localize our theory of change. And for the next 5 years, we will work directly with these communities of action to have our organized voices, to have initiatives that place young women at the forefront, but also initiatives that empower us young women to take lead. Through these communities of action, we will ensure that safer spaces are created for us young women to share knowledge, to learn from each other, to build each other, to make sure that our experiences are key to influencing policymakers to act. We will also work together through these communities of action to develop joint strategies that improve our sexual reproductive health and rights. Through the communities of action, we will empower, coach, and mentor. All these cores will play a bigger role in mentoring young women rights holders to be resilient, to be able to survive and thrive, to be able to speak out, to make our voices heard. And throughout the We Lead program, we will pay close attention to the well-being of young women. How can we equip them with information, but also give them the skills to start up something, to economically empower themselves? I am confident when I say that an empowered and independent woman is able to fight any kind of violence. At We Lead, our goal by the end of 2025, we hope to have a resilient community of young women who can claim their sexual and reproductive health and rights. And we hope that these rights are able to be recognized, respected, and protected by the public. As our national programs coordinator highlighted, right now in the country, we are working in an uncertain environment. We all know that 2 weeks ago, the Eastern and South African commitments were not endorsed by Uganda. And we all know that these are the commitments that will prompt our government to step up its action, to work towards ensuring that there is an environment that allows young people to be able to access right information, to be able to access services, and to be able to know their rights fully and demand for the things that they need. So as we move forward, these are some of the issues that we should be looking at. How can we drive a supportive SRH environment that allows girls to access services, that allows women, us young women, to enjoy our sexual rights, our reproductive rights, to own our bodies, to decide what we want to do with our lives, to say, I am not ready for marriage. I want to work hard, go back to school, and be someone of importance. Because we do not belong to the kitchen, to those saucepans and pans. We can belong to the bigger offices. We can compete effectively with men on the same table. Allow me also add, we managed as a country to agree on the areas that we will be implementing in. And these are our geographical scope. We will be implementing the We Lead program in 4 regions of Uganda. Bukedi sub-region will operate in the districts of Tororo and Busia. Busoga sub-region will implement in Jinja, Iganga, and Bugweri. West Nile, Terego, Zombo, Yumbe, and Arua. And in Acholi sub-region, Gulu and Lamu. Throughout the We Lead program, we will work effectively to ensure that no one is left behind. Collaborations and partnerships will be very key in the way we will implement the program to ensure that all girls, all young women in their different different categories are not left out. We want every voice heard. We want girls to lead, because we know girls have a voice, but how can we make that voice heard at all levels? Our strategies as a program, we will center more on 3 major strategies. We will be loud on advocacy. We will lobby. We will create creative, innovative campaigns that will lobby policymakers to recognize the urgency to take action on addressing our needs. We will further play a bigger role on developing positive contents that are able to speak to policymakers. Evidence as king. We'll also work big on capacity strengthening. We have said this for the longest time. Community-based organizations at the grassroots levels have the passion, have the resilience to do anything. But the challenge is they lack the capacity to compete favorably with the other big entities. So how can we support each other to grow? As you can see amongst our cohorts, it's a blend. People usually ask me, this is really a blend. These ones are big, these ones are small, and I'm like, no, we are all perfectly unique. And there is something big we all bring on board. So capacity building for institutional development will be very key. We will also train other cohorts on meaningful and inclusive engagement, and also on inclusive and diverse programming. We'll also do big on strategy 3, which is communication. How do we communicate for behavior change? How do we reach our fellow peers with these messages? As I end my remarks, allow me note that the We Lead program is very loud on promoting the need for gender equality, diversity, and inclusion, because this is where the problem is with advancing women's sexual and reproductive health and rights. All forms of violence against women continue to exacerbate because we have gender inequalities that are furthermore put forward with the social inequalities that women face. I would love to note that we want a future where we can make decisions about our bodies, about our reproductive choices, and we all know this can only be possible if women are empowered to lead. If young women have the right information, they are able to access services, they are able to dialogue diplomatically with policymakers. Policymakers are able to listen to us. Allow me to say that through We Lead, I dream of a society of empowered, more independent, more focused, more resilient young women. And that is what the We Lead program is here for. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow. Can we clap for Mata again? Thank you so much, Mata. Before I invite in our next speaker, allow me to report to our partners who are with seeing impairment that we lead. We are not just talking as most people talk and say we do this, and we don't see that. The person talking to my brothers who can see me, I'm a person in a wheelchair. What does that mean? We lead, we empower. And still, among us here, we are really preaching what we call the inclusiveness. We are talking about leaving no one behind. As we can tell on our platform here right now, but still also online, we have people who are with hearing impairment. We've got interpreters in the house. I think that is amazing. And that's what we are calling not leaving anyone behind. At this time, kindly allow me to invite one of our representatives who can give us statements of Community of Action Organization. This is Betty of Akan from Wudu, the Executive Director. You're most welcome.
media. You
can help for her as you can.
It depends. Just check the lines. Very close.
Hello. I have taken off my mask without any permission because I have kept my social distance. I am well away from everybody else. The moderator made it sound like I am this amorphous, humongous person. And I am not that, as you can see. I have also specifically chosen to dress like a youth today because it is the youth that we are celebrating today. It is the youth that we have in large numbers in the house. All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, warm greetings and good morning.
Do I have to put them?
For today.
They didn't put that in the memo.
My name is Betty Achana.
Then I need to develop.
Someone struggled mentioning
I can
that.
develop
It
them
is
now.
Achana. My name is Betty Achana and I work for National Union of Women with Disabilities of Uganda. I will not say so much this morning because a lot has already been said. I was actually about to complain about the interpretation in sign language before seeing Maureen. I have walked ahead and I've now seen her and I'm feeling a lot more confident. So the word inclusivity is beginning to make sense to me. Otherwise, if I had not, I possibly was not going to stand here to speak because then I would not be making any sense to my constituency. I thank you so much for making that provision and for being inclusive. I stand to talk to us on behalf of the COA, the Community of Action Partners. And as already mentioned, we are about 14 in numbers. And it is my prayer that what I am speaking will be the views or at least an understanding and agreement of all the 14. It is quite clear that you can never have more than 3 people thinking and believing and agreeing to the same thing. But I will try because we are defined by an agenda and defined by objectives and defined by a goal, which goal is achievable by all of us. I want to first of all extend our greatest gratitude to the SRH Alliance in Uganda for their transparency and their selection of the members to work with. It has been comprehensively talked about, but I want to, on behalf of all of us, say thank you so much for considering the team that we have enlisted in the logo. The team that has been enlisted in the logo was not accidental. It was intentional because of the uniqueness of the persons and of the sectors that these people work in. If you look at the National Union of Women with Disabilities, we are an umbrella organization that works with all categories of disabilities and work across Uganda. And that does not put aside the youth and the girl diversity and the complexity of the youth with the uniqueness that are represented by this organization. And it is a call upon us to appreciate the processes, the system, and the organization, and the intended and targeted group in these categories, because surely they have been excluded from many things in as far as health, and especially sexual and reproductive health is concerned. I want to pause and give an example, not an example, it's an experience, to help us further understand why we are talking about the uniqueness of youth in these categories. I one time, in about maybe 4 years ago, went to Bidibidi. And once I got there, I got, of course, a number of national and international NGOs working there. Now, there happened to be a case of a young girl with disability. This girl covers 3 categories of the rights holders that we are targeting in the We Lead projects, in the We Lead program. This girl was a girl with disability. She's a girl that had been displaced by war and coming through from southern Sudan. And a number of the international and national organizations had already identified her. But there happens to be the host community around. And this girl was impregnated by one of the gentlemen in the host community. And that was an alarm to all the organizations that were working there. So the day we got there, the IRC was there, Compassion International was there, UNICEF was there. But they all could not handle the case in question, because this girl had multiple disabilities. And now here she is, she's very pregnant. So when we arrived, in fact, when I arrived, they say, oh no, what do, thank God you're here. We were almost taking this girl for forceful abortion. That was one organization. The other organization quickly ran to arrest the responsible person. And what was the girl saying? What did she want? Was her opinion and her rights considered? Because the girl stood and said, Madam, all I want is my child. She'll be my helper, she'll be my family. I have been displaced, and the rest of my family is killed. So when I extend my gratitude to SRH Alliance for the unique selection of the organization, it is practical, it is realistic, because we are going to feel the impact. The people that you have chosen are the people that are going to deliver. And I also stand to affirm our commitment, our expertise, combined with our experiences, to have us have the best outcome, the most impacting effect, and the empowerment realization, as we have already mentioned. I also want to thank SRH Alliance that this project is particularly dealing with the 4 rights holders, leaving no one behind. Nothing for us without us. We have quite often made interventions without involving the rights holders. The example and experience I have just stated clearly shows us that we need and we cannot have a second opinion to involving and engaging the right holders, because it is only the right holders that know what affects them. They feel what affects them, they know what they need, and they know how to make things move in their space. I also want to say that we are grateful for this space. This is a space that has been provided. 5 years is not a short time. We want to make the most of this space to amplify the voices of the young people with unique abilities, the young people in different statuses, for access to the different services that is needed for all and by all, especially the young girls, the young women, in as far as their sexual and reproductive health is concerned. We need to engage the duty bearers. I am so glad and honored once again to have my colleagues from the government arm, whom we cannot work without. These are the duty bearers, these are the policy implementers and the policy formulators. We are so glad to have them in the house. It is very important that they sit in the same hall and listen to what the youth are saying. Of course, the voices are being amplified in the different categorized organizations. So we are glad that we're going to be working with the different sectors of the government arm, the Ministry of Gender, our line ministry, the Equal Opportunity Commission, and all the rest, the Ministry of Health. We're happy to have you aboard so that you get to listen and understand us from grassroots coming upwards to the national level. We will be engaging. Earlier on in the month, we already organized a similar meeting to just get us familiar and get us to know that yes, this project is coming and it's going to engage all of us, and we will need your attention, we will need your coordination, we will need your leadership, we will need your technical advice. We cannot do it alone. We are, after all, part of government, and we have to work as one. We are also grateful that the space has been provided. This is a space that we will work in with a lot of transparency, that we will work in for us, with us, and by us. Nothing for us without us. So we are very grateful for that, and we want to embrace everybody to voice out the uniqueness that they will need to be addressed. I personally know that I cannot speak about all the uniqueness and the issues, the pertinent issues for the girls and the young people with disabilities standing here. But when we start to work together, we will start to unpack, and then we will realize how exclusive we have been in our programming and in our intended projects and service provision and generally work across the nation. I'm so glad that we, starting from now, we have started a journey that will take us very inclusively in what matters most: health of the young people. The young people, as we all know, are the future of tomorrow. And without health, there is no life, there is no energy, there is no tomorrow. So I thank us all. I encourage us to embrace this project and work together as a team. Have a blessed day and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, should we not meet or should we not speak. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, my other colleagues that are in the COA together. Have a lovely day.
Wow. Thank you so much, Betty, for giving us that statement. Let's clap for Betty once again. At this time, we are going to have a short break for like 2 minutes, and then we shall get back on with some music interlude. Thank you. Wow, that was amazing performance. I think we are now all awake after that. Uh, from since morning, we've heard about young women, young women, young women, young women, young women. At this time, kindly allow me to invite one of the young women who's going to give a statement representing the young women, and she's coming from the Uganda network of young women living with HIV. Kindly allow me to invite Madam Charlotte. You're welcome.
You guys, I'm very sorry, but I have to take this off. It's been a year and some few months, but I'm still not used to these things. Nothing for us without us, right? I love saying that since I had it, you know. All protocol observed. Good morning. My name is Namanja Shirat. Yeah, you can see I'm queening. I'm the Miss Y Plus Central Region 2020-2021. Thank you. And I'm the first runner-up, Nationals. I work with the Uganda Network of Young People Living with HIV, an organization that works to serve young people and works with young people. Like, seriously, I'm the policy, I'm an advocacy officer, and I'm a young person. So, yeah. Since morning, like our lovely MC has said, we have been talking about young women, and we are very many in here, but very many of us are not already here. So allow me to represent the ones that are not here and the ones that are here, and I pray I do justice to all of you. We, the young women in various communities of Uganda, continue to be affected by various social and health challenges which continue to be neglected, including the advancement of our sexual reproductive health and rights. We have all witnessed a rising number of very many teenage pregnancies, dropouts, and these are all young women and girls, young people living or not living with HIV, with people with disabilities, young people living negatively. It has been all around since COVID-19 started. And very few people are being helped out through this. Very few young women are being helped, but others are just like really neglected. And if you know me, you know that I didn't know about sexual reproductive health and rights until I was 15. So all throughout school, I just had things and kept on picking on what I had, yet all I had wasn't correct until I was 15 and officially got information, and not from a health facility. It is further unfortunate that our voices, including those of young women living with HIV like myself, young women with disabilities, young women affected by displacement, and young women who are key populations. We are vulnerable in very many different ways. The 4 categories that I've talked about. We are very vulnerable in different ways, and these are the ways through which we are not favored and our sexual reproductive health rights are violated. Well, I would like to remind our audience that it is we, young women, that are perfect solutions to addressing the challenges that we face. Because we have the stories, we are the face of all that we say. We have the challenges. When you sit and listen to us, you know what we go through and what challenges we really face out there regarding our sexual reproductive health. And I am very grateful for the We Lead program that is here to empower us, of course, and I just love saying nothing for us without us. You know, it just gives vibes. Huh? Young people, don't laugh at me. Those are vibes. Vibes only. Yeah? So as most times we are often absent at the decision-making spaces where our life experience would push policymakers to step up their action in protecting and preserving our futures and well-being. Just like I said before, it is us with the stories. It is us with the face. The WeLead program is here not to only empower us, but to truly put us in the driving seat while supporting us to impactfully and sustainably advocate for our SRHR and to champion the change of perceptions of policymakers and the public about SRHR. Well, of course, the public has very many views about sexual reproductive health, like some people have said up here. That is one of the reasons as to why I was never given information about it. Oh, you're still too young to know about that. Why would you ask about that? Are you sexually active? Is that why you're asking? Such questions already arise when you just ask one tiny question about sexual reproductive health. And I'm a young person. Of course, I need this information if I have to guard myself against issues that arise every now and then. Gender-based violence is one of the issues that very many young women face, but it is brought out through them people violating their sexual reproductive health rights, and they do not even know. Half of the time, they are not given this information, and they do not even know these rights are theirs. So when someone violates it, they do not know someone is actually violating their right. So in actual sense, they just take it as, oh no, they actually love me, but they just have to do that so that I learn. But it's not the case. If these young women are given this information, if they understand their rights to the notch, they will know what to do. And We Lead is right now doing exactly that. Because it is very many young women out there that still have to learn this. And I am very happy to work with We Lead as a partner, as whatever I can work with to bring this to the table, because women leading, I love that. I really do love that. Well, as I conclude, allow me note that the slogan of the We Lead program, nothing for us without us, oh my God, I love that, is not just a motto. It is the new narrative of what meaningful and inclusive engagement is for us young women. Us being recognized as partners, not beneficiaries. Us being at the forefront of creating and championing comprehensive and inclusive initiatives that holistically address our health challenges, including our SRHR, and having our voices heard by policymakers who have the power to influence and take action on promoting a supportive and enabling environment for our sexual reproductive health. I cannot be more grateful for the opportunity that we are having. Well, as women lead, let us fight for our rights, our sexual reproductive rights, and let's show Uganda what it means for women to lead. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Namayanja. That was amazing. Something got here is nothing for us without us. Nothing for us with? Nothing for us without? Since morning, we've heard from our national coordinator, Charles, telling us when. When is now. This is the time. I'm going to invite Martha to come and then take us through the launch of the project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. I'd invite Martha. As Martha comes up, I'd like to invite Charles. I'd also invite a representative of the SRHR Alliance Board. We could also have the Member of Parliament, then a representative from Uganda AIDS Commission, then the COAs. How many are we? 14, eh? We could have how many? 6 or 7, eh? Social distancing, eh? Or we could all just come here, and I invite Martha to take us through the launch of the We Lead program. Thank you. Could you just, the COAs, we could just have one representative, just come up here. The COAs, Peace, do you want me to call out names? Peace, Butter, Scovia. Yeah. Could you up here? Butter, could you just help her? men help women. All right, so we could just all stand at the side. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. We also like to invite the other board member of the Alliance present here, Isaac. You could join in here. We could just try to spread through. The most interesting thing about this entire team is, apart from two organizations, the rest are led by young women and women. Out of the 14 organizations in the COA, only 2 are led by men. But they are all young men. One of them is our board member, Uganda Network of Young People Living with HIV, and the other is Ashwa. So I'll just invite Martha to take us through this with Charles very fast. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bakshi. I'm really excited for us to launch this program. I'm going to invite the host, but also for me to really offer my appreciation to the hosting organization, the SRH Alliance. For the last 5 months, it's been a hassle, but having them trusting me and supporting through to make sure that we are here today, and for all that we've done for this year. Charles, you're welcome.
Thank you. I think let's go through the launch ritual. And we are glad here that we have the honorable members of parliament. We also have the board members, and we have the most able team of young people in the house. So what we are going to do, let's first agree, what do we show that we are the ones leading? What kind of power what sign do we use to show that we are leading? So we will do that sign, and then afterward we will have the first person sign, the honorable members. Then we'll have a young person sign. Then we'll have the board members of the alliance sign, and all of us will sign, and then we move into the next program. So what's the sign?
This is our sign. Power, we lead.
Do we use is it Wakanda or which one? I'm saying power, they will say that some people are yellow, they will say we are. So can we use the Wakanda as the sign that we are the one leading? Okay, so on the count of yes. Can we have a two positive? So ladies and gentlemen, on the count of two hands, two hands to show that we are leading. Two hands. Okay. Can you see Jackson there? The two hands like that. So ladies and gentlemen, on the count of 3, we are launching, we lead. And we want to feel the youth power. Even when you're down there, please feel it. Okay, we are ready? Okay, on the count of 3, and I say 3. Is it 300 or 3? 3, 2, 1, and 0! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I now take the honor to hand over the marker to our honorable members to sign, and then we have, and please make sure there is a photography moment here, there, honorable. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Jackson, on behalf of the board of the Alliance. Uh-huh. And can we have the young person come and sign? The Queen herself. Okay, so the rest of us can come and sign as well. And as we are signing, in the interest of time, this is a breakfast meeting. We don't want to go beyond 11. I would like to request Honorable Rose, who is an executive member of Naum in Parliament and very passionate about the issue of young women, to just give us a brief remarks as we sign. Honorable, you would hear so that people can have photography moment as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, good morning. Rose Zobiga, woman member of parliament representing Terego. If you look at me from head to toe, this morning I'm almost imitated or part of young people. Just look at my hairstyle. Thank you. Before that if you look at my colleague, don't you see young people in us? Yeah, so we have come. You should always come prepared to look like the occasion and be part of the occasion. Before I say anything, can I ask my colleague to greet you and say a word before I can move on? Thank you.
I hope you're free from COVID. Good morning, colleagues, once again. Nakato Mary Annette, Omani MOP, representing the people of Wiyende. I'm happy and glad when you talk of youth. I know, and I'm proud to be a health worker. I know what they are going through. And my role model today was Missy Nanyans. I was so happy to see her. What is she? Nyabo, Missy, she knows better. Me, I'm now old, I don't know, but I will one time invite her because I'm having a very good number of youth living with HIV, and really they are marginalized, seriously. So I'm happy for this day. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much. I'm an executive member for NAWOMP, and I represent the chairperson right now. I'm so happy and excited to be here this morning. I want to thank the organizers for specifically inviting me, Martha. I can't thank you enough because personally you asked me to be here. I have a wedding function in my constituency tomorrow. I have to drive after here for 10 hours. And I was telling the organizers, oh, I'm sorry. We agreed I'll be here from 8 and by 10:30 I'll be leaving. And next time I want to tell you, if you call me for a function, we agree on time. I don't want to pay for your sins. When you choose not to keep time, don't transfer that responsibility on me, because we would have crashed a lot. I want to condemn this hotel openly without any reproach. I don't want to miss my word. The stage is not good for persons living with disabilities. We can't afford in this era in Uganda to carry, I repeat, to carry a wheelchair. I condemn this space and this stage. And I want, on behalf of government, to say this stage should be redesigned. Anyone who is from the hotel and is here, on behalf of government, and as a member of parliament in the NRM, I said this hotel must be redesigned. We can't afford this as a country. There's nothing for us without us. We lead while others follow. If you don't speak for yourself, no one is going to speak for you. If we don't take an initiative and say no to some things in this country, that will go wrong. And then we turn and blame government. Who is government? I pray we don't abuse whatever space we're given. Personally, I'm an admirer of the Dutch embassy and Dutch community and the Dutch themselves. I've worked so much with them, SNV. They have done a lot in my constituency. I know we're going to implement SRHR program in Terego. My plea is always that kindly do for the refugees what you are going to do for the local community. There is always a tendency when we have partners, programs, and projects working in Terego, it's basically for the refugee community. Ours is to drink the dust from the vehicles. Very annoying. It's better I live in my ignorance, I live in my state without knowing that I'm being abused. I've given a big chunk of land as a mother. I'm called Mama Terego because I'm the first mother for that district. You can't take that from me. We can have 1 million MPs to come after me, but I remain the first mother, and I remain mother. Mother Martha, I'm your senior mother. I promise you my total effort and ability to mobilize the community. Use me as much as possible, and use me when I'm still there. Don't start regretting, wow, she was there, why didn't I use her? Right now, I speak with the authority because I was voted both by opposition and the ruling NRM members. I'm a very unique MP. And I'm the most rural MP the parliament has seen. There's no village ahead of my village. So I'm an example of a rural girl. Seriously, if I told you how I grew up, my father died so early. But I remember one thing he said, Kunontu its factors. If others can, why not me? If I can, from that very rural background, I slept in a house that was not complete, a grass-thatched house. The topmost roof was open. When I choose to pray to God, it goes direct because there was no roof blocking it. I slept in a house without a door. We used grass for closing our door. That's why I said I'm the most rural MP. I know it all. None of you can compete with me in experience. I have it at my fingertips. I drank the slippery leaves with the bow, only without bread for a week because we had nothing after the death of our dad. But I stood my ground. I will take the strides until I reach where I want to be. And today I'm a member of parliament. It's not easy to be a lawyer. I'm a lawyer too. I stand here with 4 degrees proudly. By the time I leave parliament, I must have 6 degrees. That is it. You must have a set target. I'm so aggrieved with you. Yeah, you have to speak for yourselves. You have to learn to do it better and do it better than anyone. Always set a pace, and no one can go in my space anyway. I don't envy anyone, but I don't even want to have too much wealth. I want to have what I think is enough for me. In my simple hands, I already have produced 9 graduates, 9 degrees in my hands. Who of you has labored out of nothing but brewing the local alcohol? I paid school fees for 9 siblings, and I'm yet here to pay for more. I picked a girl who lost her hand, her hand, in the negligence and drunkenness of the parents. She lives with me. She's not my relatives. She's not anywhere. She was not even my friend. I got her selling mangoes. If you ever find anyone selling mangoes in Moyo district, where Honorable Moriku comes from, the There is nothing better than saying that is the most poor person. I asked myself at this rate, if she's selling mangoes, what could be better for her tomorrow? I asked her how much is this basin full of mangoes. She told me 200 shillings. I gave her 50,000. I told her, tell your parents to come to me in my office. By then I was working for Electoral Commission. When the parents arrived with her in the morning, her dress, what I knew her for was the dress of many colors. Remember that song of the coat of many colors? Her uniform made no sense. The parents were as drunk as nothing. I just learned that they'd sold everything to drink, but put the baby near fire. And as fire burned, her hand got burnt. They could not even wake up. Neighbors felt meat was smelling and a baby was yelling. When they came, the couple was dead asleep. And they tried to kick them while they couldn't wake up because they were dead drunk. So they carried this baby, amputated her, gave her milk and did everything. Even that was not a lesson enough. They kept drinking and drinking. Whatever help I gave, I did my best in their hands, all went to drinking. Then I gave myself a solution. I'm not going to help until they give me this girl. They tried to refuse by saying, if you want to help, help when she's with us. Because they now had found a bait. They knew my heart was bleeding for her. But when I held myself for 4 months, they said no. The girl started crying and they gave her to me. I picked her in P3. Now she is going to senior 1. I'm so excited about Anne. I told her, Anne, whether I'm dead or alive, you're part of my will. I want to see you, that person, in my dream. How many of you, as we see the most vulnerable, have taken the initiative? I'm not saying I've done it all. We are here talking about vulnerability. Let's walk the talk. Just don't talk because of the sake of talking. Can we say we want to make a difference? Tomorrow when you go to Terego, can you help me together with you identify those girls who have gotten pregnant and what tangible impact do we want to leave there? Together we can do a lot. We lead while others follow. It's not about we lead. So as we lead, so what? What do we want to achieve? Youth, can you say we can? We can do a lot more. Make a stage where people will pick 1 or 2 things out of your lifestyle. What can you sacrifice? So just for the sake of others. I have friends, colleagues, and myself. Yes, I'm not a positive living, but my mom is. So I live with that trauma in my brain. Every day I'm like, oh, if she leaves, who will stand in this village when I'm not there? What do you have for the young people who live in our communities? Can we encourage them? Can we make them understand? My son likes to sing, dance, and do everything. But I remember 13 years ago, I was married, and how his father slaughtered me. If I did not wake up in the sleep, I would have found my throat gone. The excitement of marriage. Young people think sex is all about fun. Oh, okay, marriage is all about sex. No. It is more than sex. There is a lot behind that. And we can only do mindset change only when we talk to them, when we be their friend. And when I arrive in Terego, I'm known by having this. They even say, this is one of us, you know. And they come nearer. What have you done to pull the young nearer you? And then you give your information. I was called by the other society. I mean, you know them? Homosexuals and what, lesbians. And I didn't understand until when I had a talk, hard talk. I said, Why are you this proud? I'm this Catholic. We are called the Roman Catholics, okay? Which means we are that fanatic. But when I was told, Rose, whom do you think I sleep with? You think I sleep with the God? I sleep with your son, your husband, your brother, your cousin. That's when I understood, oh, so it is actually with me. You understand? Then you start appreciating. And then when you talk to them, when you be with them, you understand the challenge, why they are doing this. Then you start seeing, how can we do this better? But when you stay there in the mass, you can't understand what other people do and why they do it. Members, it's not a time to just talk and talk. It's here to see how we can work together, how we can have allies. It's not about members of parliament. It's about who is there for you. How many members of parliament are in that house? Over 500 of us. But who can be your ally and your word? Who can be that person you can lean on? Who can be that person who can stand straight and say, yes, whether you like it or yes, it is there. It is happening. It is with us. We have young people who are having unprotected sex, who are getting infected every day. We have people of the other community, they are there. Can we speak for them? Can we stop victimizing people? Can we say these are all Ugandans? We need each other. Today I'm in parliament, even tomorrow you can be in parliament. Youth, if you knew better how you can manage us the other age, you'd control us. But only that at times you forget that you can do it all. And then you think we should be on the steering wheel until you realize that you should be on the steering yourself. Then we shall bow and say, okay, let's have a dialogue. My personal gratitude to all the partners. I'm sorry I can't mention you one by one. You are doing a lot for this country. You are supplementing the efforts of government. I want to applaud Netherlands government. I want to applaud the Dutch embassy. I want to say on behalf of Uganda government and on behalf of women members of parliament, thank you and thank you a bunch. May the God continue to bless you. We love you. I will go with this decoration up to Terego and say, we had a wonderful launch here. I love you as you continue, and as I leave, my prayers and love remain with you. I will not live by spirit, just by body. I'll continue with you, but just because I need 10 hours to reach Terego right now, kindly I beg you release me for God and my country.
Thank you, Honorable, and thank you for such an energetic awakening. Something I learned from our new mama, you're most welcome. Thank you. Is as young people here, let's do it than anyone else. Something we've really learned. I think we've got a lot from our new mama, and thank you so much for such a powerful speech you've given us. At this time, kindly allow me to invite our commissioner from the Equal Opportunity, that is Mr. Kamia Julius. Mr. Kamia, you're most welcome.
I want to observe all protocol, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's so challenging to say a word after all these very powerful speeches. You wonder what you are going to say next. But just allow me to register our appreciation. I don't feel comfortable. Let me just put off the mask for a moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was just saying, allow us to register our appreciation for this new intervention, which we are going to interact with for the next 5 years or so, thanks to the brains that put this together. And from what I am hearing last week and now, was it last week or earlier this week? It's a project that is going to touch the lives of very important people, particularly the young women in this country. A lot of things have been said, as I have hinted, but allow me to recollect. When I just left university and started my work life, that's about 21 years ago, 25 years ago. I had so many mentors. Initially, I am from the mass communications background. I have since taken on other professions. But so as I'm saying, I had many mentors in the work life that I went into. After a bit of practice in journalism, I went into social development, social work. And one of the mentors I interacted with was somebody who hardly went beyond P7. He told us, or he told me, I don't know whether the others took it on like I did, that in the traditions of Uganda here, where I come from also, you know, Uganda used to be hunters, among a few other things. But when the hunters went to do their job, there are some of those animals that were difficult to spear. But if they wanted to succeed on this difficult animal, they would take a woman ahead of them. And once she saw the animal and pointed, "Yiri," the person next to her would certainly spear the animal when he threw it at the animal. They would not spear a miss. What did that, for me, that communicated a lot. Leadership in the woman. You can also say good luck. Good luck in the woman. So if we have women taking the lead, even in this We Lead project, what more shall we want as men? My only call would be that we need to carry along the young men, if the project has a space for that. At some point, you might want to involve young men in the project so that the woman does not fly alone. People used to say behind every man is a what? A success. Behind every successful man there is a woman. I think let's now say behind, in front of every successful man, there is a powerful woman. Yeah. I come from the Equal Opportunities Commission. I am a person who lost my sight at 8 years, gradually at 4 months first with my left eye, and then the right eye when I was 8. I succumbed to retinoblastoma. But when you talk of the power of a woman, I remember my mother who passed on last July. She did it all to see the Julius you see here. She never went to school beyond primary, but she always said, I am concerned how I will leave you if I don't educate you. And here I am. So when people talk about women and their power, I don't start with my spouse. I start with my mom. And the rest has just happened almost naturally after her groundwork. And because I'm a person who has a visual impairment, to be specific, blind, I am very passionate about the concerns around inclusion, around participation, around effective benefit from services, from programs. So when I hear all this we are saying, I think we are on the right path. People want to be included in what affects them. So the slogan which the young lady, was it Shifra? Nothing for us without us. That speaks volumes. You need to constantly involve, constantly consult with the constituencies that we purport to serve. They have a lot they have to share. They know the challenges they are going through. They possibly will sit together with us and come up with the most appropriate solutions. And working with them, not just for them, at every stage. Identification of problems or challenges, designing appropriate interventions, the actual implementation, the monitoring of that work, and even doing the accountability for it. People who have been marginalized for a long time would want to be involved at all those stages. The commission that I work for on the government side is the prime mover for that. We are deeply concerned that certain sections of society have hitherto been left behind. And Uganda, we should remember, is a states party to many of the UN conventions. Many of them speak to leaving no one behind. You wouldn't have a convention on elimination of discrimination, all forms of discrimination against women, CEDAW, if you don't want to make the emphasis that don't leave the woman behind. Are we together? You would still not speak about the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities if you are not telling the world that don't leave persons with disabilities together. And that goes on and on for all other marginalized persons and groups. But the SDGs, which everybody has made allusion to, also make emphasis on leaving no one behind. And I want to add, and deliberately, consciously reach out to the farthest behind first. Farthest behind first, not only in terms of distance, where they live, but in terms of being left out, either consciously or inadvertently. So you may have left out certain sections of society in your work, sometimes knowingly, and some other time unknowingly. So that person is farthest behind, and it should be our effort to consciously target them, so that they are brought to the decision-making table, or even the cake-sharing table. Ladies and gentlemen, the commission in our work, let me just summarize this. for us to ensure that we promote equal opportunities and affirmative action for the marginalized populations. We do that through a number of interventions, but allow me to pull out one, that the law that establishes the commission allows us to make sure that all entities of government and non-government are inclusive of people who have been vulnerable for a long time, who have been left out, who have been discriminated against. And so we are allowed to come up with the guidelines to help all of them. How do you include, if we talk about inclusion of these people? What do you exactly mean? We are given that space, but we are also now doing assessments of all government plans and budgets to make sure that the development needs and concerns of marginalized people, discriminated people, are taken on board. If we find any government entity that is not compliant, so we advise Parliament through the minister responsible for finance not to issue a gender and equity compliances. No, we advise the minister not to issue a gender and equity compliance certificate. And if the entity does not have that certificate, Parliament will not appropriate resources for the next financial year. But that's a very key area for us of entry, even with the We Lead project. All these partners you're working with, we need to catch up at some stage with the Equal Opportunities Commission to see how we can strengthen the tools that we use when doing these assessments. How do we take on board some of the concerns that we have not thought about, which you know? And in that way, the Commission will also be doing consultation with you people. Let me say finally that the way you have planned this partnership is very, very amazing. For me, it is very interesting. But I know that when we are in partnerships, we still have individuals. At some point, we can have differences. In fact, somebody said, if you don't have any differences or challenges, deliberately create them so that you ignite thinking. But if these ones occur, I think the important thing is for us to amicably solve them. Not for us, it's not a platform for us to tear apart. I'm emphasizing that we need to remain strong as a partnership. Secondly, I have made mention of the need to bring the male youth on board at some stage so that they can move together. In Uganda, we also say you can't talk of a forest when it is just tall, old trees in one place. For the forest to be worth that name, you also need the young trees in it. Without them, it's not a forest. So that tells you the importance of young people in the work that we do together as a country. And then lastly, I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that let's consult with the government. Somebody emphasized this, that we need to tap into government, these policy makers, policy implementers, for their role, their advisory role. They can be telling us what is happening in the government or what is about to come, and how can we position or reposition ourselves to benefit from all that. Currently, the government is taking its service delivery direct to the parish through what they are calling the parish development model. You want to interest yourselves in that as you plan your implementation strategies, because that is going to be the epicenter for service delivery. So as we do this work, remember, as a civil society, we are complementing government efforts. Otherwise, government remains solely responsible for the citizens of this country. So let's find a government where it has decided to concentrate. Let's find it there, because at some stage, a colleague mentioned, the project might come to an end. But how do we ensure sustainability? That's one of the approaches. I will not bore you more. I want to thank you for your kind attention. Wish you great festive season and prosperity in the year to come. Thanks be to God.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Kamia Julius. We are moving towards the end of our launch, and I'd like to invite the representative of the board of the SRHR Alliance, the Executive Director, Reproductive Health Uganda, Jackson Chekweku, who will later on invite the representative of the Director General of the Uganda AIDS Commission to officially close the launch. Thank you so much.
With your permission, I will also join the rest to remove the mask. Good morning, colleagues. Our chief guest has just left us, Honorable Rose Abika, the woman MP for Terego, who was also representing the chairperson of Naum, the honorable member from Biende who has just left us, our development partners who joined us online, the Embassy of Netherlands and other partners, government agencies in our midst, Uganda AIDS Commission, Ministry of Gender, Equal Opportunities Commission, the community of action, who are the foot soldiers under the We Lead program, our partners and the beneficiaries and the focus of attention, the great young people. Are the young people still there? Can we make some noise? There we are. Nothing for us without us. I'm now putting on the heart of a real young woman. Nothing for us without. Thank you. On behalf of the board of the SRH Alliance, I want to join my colleagues Charles and other members of management to welcome you to this meeting in your diversity. When I entered this morning, I really saw something unique. I saw the definition of diversity. Trust me, I've been here for a while. I have interacted in a number of meetings, but this one is really unique. When I saw the MC moderating from the Equal Opportunities Commission, we would not have had a good friend and the speaker who has just spoken to us. I think the We Lead program indeed is unique, and I want to appreciate the conceivers of the We Lead program. I also want to appreciate Charles and your leadership for the networking. Sometimes at this part of the year, when everybody is preparing for Christmas, where minds are running very fast, even transport is higher. it is unique that we bring together committed persons with passion to come for a meeting of this kind with almost 100% attendance. I think that is a special networking. I want to mention that the We Lead program, like it has been shared, this has been the missing link. This has really been the missing link. And I want to thank the Netherlands Embassy and all the partners working at that global level for thinking about this. I want to appreciate HIFOS, the positive vibes, restless development, who put the idea together. The issue of equal opportunities, the issue of marginalization, the issue of accepting that we live in diversity has been one of the missing links in our programming, in our planning, in our policy development, and it's unfortunate the MPs have left. So the We Lead program, it is 4 pillars of capacity building of the civil society, capacity building of the young women themselves, to speak for themselves, to go for what they want, to engage and demand for their rights. We would not have had a better arrangement than under the We Lead program. The pillar about putting advocacy at the center, having built the capacities of these great women. Look at the queen. Where is the first runner? Shira. At this age, with the necessary and conducive environment, give her more 5 years. How will she change the face of this country? And that is what we want. And that is what the We Lead program is there for. Having built the capacities, then can we connect this community to service? Can we create access to the rightful information, qualified for them to make informed decisions about their future, about their plans, where they want to go, about their lives? And Martha put it about our bodies. We, as Ugandans, are at different levels. We, as Ugandans, are really segmented. We have the colleagues who put on ties like Jackson. We have the colleagues who speak good English like you guys. Dress nicely. But as we speak, we have also colleagues who have real challenges. And from a statistical background, I want to mention that in this country, Uganda, up to 12% of our population are persons living with some form of disability. Can we translate that in numbers? That is 4.5 million Ugandans. And if we don't put deliberate attention, if we don't put deliberate opportunities, if we don't purposively choose interventions targeting and bringing them on board and making them to lead on issues that matter, that are for them, then we are leaving 4.5 million Ugandans aside. But on the other hand, we are saying we are up to the SDGs, leaving nobody behind. When 4.5 million are left aside. Am I saying wrong? This is what the We Lead program is trying to address. I want to give you another form of vulnerability. Let me just choose one. Early marriage, which directly affects the future of young people, of young women, to be more specific. Because when a young person is married off before the age of 15, you know the future of that young person is shattered. Even the young people or the children she's going to produce, it is very unlikely that they will break the cycle. If a young person is married off before the age of 18, you know they have been deprived of a critical part of their life, when they were supposed to enjoy their adolescence, when they were supposed to enjoy the benefits of education in order to harness their full potential. But I want to shock you with this. In this country, 40% of our young people are married off between the age of, below the age of 18. 40%, according to the Uganda Demographic Health Survey. But what is unique about this? I'm now defining the real vulnerability. What is unique about this is that 45% are found in the rural areas, while 21%, a half, is in the urban areas. So where is the vulnerability? Where is the vulnerability, members? Talk about that rural young girl. As if that's not enough. Those who have no education, 59% are married below the age of 18. 59%. Below the age of 15, it's 19%. Up to 19%. That is almost 1 in every 4 are below the age of 15. We are talking about current statistics of Uganda. But you just allow the girl to reach a secondary level, secondary education. The 59% reduces to 19%. So where is the vulnerability? It therefore confirms that the best thing you can do is to give a girl child education. And you would have addressed some of the major vulnerabilities as a country. When it comes to below the age of 15, it reduces to 1.9%. Meaning to say, the chances of a girl to have early marriage when you go to school up to secondary level becomes less and less. I want to challenge you, the community of action, to know where to direct yourself. Poverty. While for some of us who live in walls, 20% are married below the age of 18. But those in the lowest quintile, those who are poorest, it goes as high as 59.2%. Those poor rural ones, 59.2% get married. That means poverty is a critical dimension when you are talking about vulnerability. It is therefore, members, on behalf of the board of the SRH Alliance, I want to challenge our friends, the community of action, starting with the 14 members, that as we start the journey of the We Lead program, let's focus on the real vulnerable. Let's not recycle people who are already even having a breakthrough. Let's move. Let's move. Let's create a movement of actors. Let's translate the little we are talking about into action. I want to challenge you again. Martha mentioned about the extra commitments, which as a country, we didn't recommit into, but we postponed. I want to mention something. While we are talking about our rights, our reproductive rights, women's rights, there are also other actors who are very much against what we are talking about. And it's very unfortunate that this is happening. Some of these actors who are not for the rights of women sometimes portray themselves as if they are caring more than we do. And those are the challenges which are the day-to-day we have to face. They feel that all of us should be behaving within the confines of morality, within the confines of faith, religion, but they ignore one fact, that we are diverse. We have believers in this country. We have faith, people who are grown in faith, who grew up in faith. But we have also that vulnerable girl who grew up in Kichimumbasa. Do some of us know Kichimumbasa? Members, do we know? For those who know, they really know. That while we have Tamak here, while we move in Tamak, we have brothers and sisters who are living, they are separated from running water of sewage by just a small wood. And that's where they live, and that's where they eat from. But this is our country, and that's a fact. Venture to go to Kichimumbasa and you will see reality. Now, when you are telling such a young person who has grown up in that environment, I want to give you an example. I visited Kichimumbasa, and I visited one of the Moonlight Stars places overboard. Whom do I find outside? A young person. And she was doing customer care for the mother who is in business. Tell me, what message do you have for such a person? First, you need to protect that young person. Sometimes, when we talk about vulnerability, and you are a Ugandan coming from the rural village like our sister, the Honorable mentioned, you can go emotional. But we have a duty, colleagues. We have a duty. I am so happy that the We Lead program has brought together a team of diverse organizations who are going to come first within our communities in the focus regions, and with our unique experiences, with our unique constituencies. Let's come back here 5 years and we celebrate the achievements and the change we have made. There is no better person who can talk, for example, for persons living with HIV more than the person who is living with HIV. There is no person who can talk for a person living with disability more than. And that is why we in the We Lead program are saying nothing for us without us. On behalf of the SRH Alliance, I want to recommit ourselves that behind the SRH Alliance is a team of organizations with very strong backgrounds. From the governance perspective, I want to assure you that we shall give the leadership. We shall work with the management under the leadership of Charles to ensure that the program runs to its intended objective. We shall create the necessary environment for this program and its partners to thrive and to conducively implement within the 5 years. I want to assure you again that we shall keep reviewing ourselves as we move, such that we continue remaining relevant. Like, for example, today, we have been coming from a world where young people were at home. Next month, we are going to a phase where young people are in school, but in a very tight environment. How do we navigate and become relevant? We are living in a world of COVID. The other day, it was Delta. Now we are on Macron. Eh? We don't know the next one. So today we are slightly free. The following day we are in lockdown. So again, we should continue reviewing ourselves, our work, such that we remain relevant. With that, members, I want once again wish you the best as we move, and we want to pray that we shall work for this program with the cooperation, the togetherness, and the focus it requires. With that, I therefore thank you once again and take the pleasure to invite the representative of the Director General of Uganda AIDS Commission, who is in our midst, to come and speak to us and officially declare this breakfast and this lunch closed. Thank you so much.
It's still good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know we've been here long and a lot has been said and probably you're also getting tired. But I want to make it very, very brief. I recognize the Dutch Embassy, the Ministry of Gender, Ministry of Health, Equal Opportunities Commission, SRHR Alliance Uganda, and all other leaders in this place. Thank you so much for giving us an invitation. I bring greetings from the Director General Uganda AIDS Commission. I'm called Hope Murungi, and I work as coordinator for private sector and civil society. And I came along with my colleague. She can stand up and greet you, and then I'll just make very few remarks, and then we'll close. Okay, she's Kemigisha Joanita, Head Communications at Uganda AIDS Commission. Like I've said, I want to really stick to 10 minutes that you gave me, because we are far beyond time. We had another meeting, but we had to try to hang around so that we honor you and honor the invitation. We recognize that indeed the adolescent young girls and women are in that category of the very vulnerable, and being vulnerable and with HIV is a double jeopardy. And then having disability, and also having that, being a refugee, being in that kind of category, being categorized in those groups, can appear like disempowering. But as we talk, as we see the efforts, we see that the story is changing, and we lead program. I'm very convinced that is going to even make it, to make the story even more different as we go along. Today, as part of the challenge that we have, 74% of the new infections of HIV in sub-Saharan Africa are among the adolescent young girls and women. In fact, 1,000 girls are affected with HIV every day, and that is quite a huge number. We have heard that 4.5 million Ugandans live with a form of disability. And so, looking further at again, the young girls, 6.8% of Ugandans, the females, are extremely affected and are living with HIV. While the young boys, the men, are 3.9. And so these issues that we're talking about today are real. They are not stories. They are real, and they are with us. And some of the factors, they have been talked about here: lack of counseling and SRHR services, gender-based violence, poverty, lack of schooling, transactional sex, early sex debut, cultural practices. All these create and increase vulnerability. But in this meeting this morning, we are glad to note the kinds of action that are being propelled through the We Lead program. And I just want to just share these few points, just to echo what you have been saying. Let us empower the adolescent girls and young women to be champions in advocacy. He has mentioned that you should be in charge. Be in charge, take the lead. Work with the media. Work with the media to amplify the voice. Martha Clara talked about advocacy. Let's work with the media, the fraternity, to see that the voice goes out and it is loud and it is heard. Let's hold community dialogues and explain these things. The issue of sexual reproductive health rights, just like you've said, yes, it's not widely understood. But can we, if you want to sell and explain this message, we must hold those dialogues to explain ourselves. Equip and influence key stakeholders. He has just mentioned, the board has, member has just mentioned that you need to come out and ensure you are holding those meetings, and you're explaining to the policymakers, explain to the religious leaders, the cultural leaders, the local leaders. Let's explain to them, let them understand, and then they'll come on board. Support efforts to influence the law and policy development. Uganda AIDS Commission is doing that. We develop policies, we disseminate, and so if you need government to support, they need to continually have a clear understanding of the agenda, and then they give the support. Uganda AIDS Commission will continue to support and coordinate. We do a coordination role, and we will pledge that we'll continue to work with you. Let's work together. Let's keep talking so that we see how to come in and support you. As I conclude, I want to congratulate you. Thank you, SRHR Alliance Uganda, for pulling off this very powerfully. For the 14 CSOs that are here, and those that probably will come along the way, that you'll be collaborating with, we congratulate you and commend you into the able hands and leadership of SRHR Alliance Uganda. We believe that this is going to create a remarkable change in the efforts. And we also want to appreciate you. Several of you in your different capacities and different approaches, you've been coming out and working very strongly to support, to advocate, especially during these days of COVID. We've been seeing you moving around, looking out, providing food, providing social support to the PLHIVs, the PWDs, and that cannot go unnoticed. So Uganda AIDS Commission, we continue, like I've just said, to say we will work with you, we will support you, we will see how together we can achieve more. I am trying to learn the slogans. If you don't hear me saying some of these slogans, just forgive me, but no one should be left behind. That one, I've picked it, and there is nothing for us without us. Am I right? Yes, Joanita will help me if she sees, when we go back, we'll have to preach very, very powerfully that message. We have recently launched the stigma and discrimination policy. I would like to interest you that look at that policy and see what does it say, how does it support us as people that are in that vulnerable category. So I appreciate you on behalf of Uganda AIDS Commission and on behalf of Director General, young people, for you are leading. You are leading well in your space. Keep going. Keep going. You are unstoppable and you are unmatchable. You have so much power in you. You have so much energy. When you decide to do something, you can go far and you can achieve much. So keep going. You will win. Just ensure that you are taking the right direction. I don't remember who said, but somebody mentioned that as you start the program, you will unpack. So as you unpack, we'll keep learning, we'll keep hearing, and we'll keep appreciating more and more. And that will enable us to even give you much more support. The Dutch Embassy, we appreciate you for the support and for the very timely intervention that you are giving in such a time as this. Thank you, SRHR Alliance Uganda. Thank you all, and for all the efforts that are in place. We thank you, and we pray that you'll have a wonderful festive season ahead. And when you kickstart the programs, we believe that it will all go well. The next 5 years, we are here. We are with you. We shall work with you as we have committed. If there have been any other issue, any other engagement or announcement, I would like to declare this meeting closed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hope. And this comes to the close of our launch, but this is just the beginning, like we said. Make sure all of us have registered, and your transport facilitation will be sent via mobile money. So if not tonight, it will be tomorrow. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if I don't see you again till next year. Enjoy the rest of your day, and departure is at leisure, but we don't have lunch.